A lot of questions have been raised
Yes.
by those who would postpone the vote and so forth, maybe even try to kill the project. Have those questions been responded to?
Well, we've been hearing the proponents of Article 1, the opponents of Article 2 and 3. We've been hearing a lot of questions from them over the past few months. We held a forum in July. We've answered questions in July and August. We hear a lot conversations about these 40 questions that were proposed. Well, these questions have been answered over and over again in writing, in public forums, via email. It's gotten to the point where we've actually brought the 40 questions with me here today for you, so you
don't
can
have time to go through them
We
all,
can't go through them all, unfortunately, but we have answered every single one of them.
Hold this up, Gino.
Yes, sir. So the town has gotten to the point where we've put that on the town's website, under the sewer articles website, and we've even started our own dedicated website at acksewer.com. These questions have been asked and answered so many times that we've even put it on the website as frequently asked questions. The opponents of Article 2 claim that these are all unanswered questions, that we haven't looked into this. That is fundamentally flawed. We have answered all the questions with scientific basis. All our science is sound. It was reviewed by the National Academy of Sciences. There's no higher peer review in the United States for that. They've all said you have come to the right conclusion. And in these 40 questions as well, the proponents of Article 1, you start to beg the question of, well, are they not worried about the science anymore? Are they not worried about these questions? Or is it more personal? I know that some of the proponents of Article 1 have installed IA systems at a significant cost. We've already spoken about how expensive they can be. And the Board of Health and the Board of Selectmen are actually working on looking at variances for people who have put in IA systems so that the burden isn't that heavy. But what most people don't realize is septic systems, especially IA systems, you only have a lifespan of about 20 years. If you've installed your IA system in 2003, which some people have, it will basically expire, will be fully depreciated by 2023, and Matticat Sewer is only going to be active by 2023, 2024. So it's actually coinciding with the correct time frame here.
Oh, I forgot what I was going to ask, but I'll come back to it. What do you think are the two or three sort of most important questions that they've raised that need to be addressed?
So one of the questions is, what about this nitrix system? You hear a lot of conversation about the nitrix system. The nitrix system is a new type of innovative alternative system that uses sawdust and wood chips to denitrify effluent. It's a great system. It does lower nitrogen by about 90%, which it's a very effective system. Well, we can't use that here yet because in Massachusetts it hasn't been approved for general use yet. So when speaking with the Massachusetts Testing Center, Septic System Testing Center, he was telling me that we are at least 3 years away from that even being approved for use in Massachusetts. And then the second part about it is you need 48 inches of denitrifying location below the surface for it to even start working. In Matticat, it's the same concept where the groundwater is so high, those 48 inches, the bottom of the septic system will be in the brackish water. And then the third part about it is it requires a significant amount of ground cover. With some of the undersized lots in Matticat, there's a lot of 10,000, 20,000 square foot lots. They simply just don't have room to put the system in. The system is huge. It's almost 3 times the size of a traditional septic system. Most people don't understand that. It might be an option in the areas on the upper part of Nantucket Great Harbor, the Mayacamet areas, part of the Hammock Pond areas, but in Matticat it's just not feasible. That's just that type of system. The second most important question that people have been asking is, will the groundwater levels go up, and will the aquifer fail, and will the wells fail? Well, Unfortunately, it is true that the aquifer recharge from the waters coming down does keep the water level low. But what we've been seeing in the health department is failing wells left and right. With with the sea level rising, these wells are failing no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And there are many times that people have been saying, a lot of the proponents of Article 1 have saying, well, where there is no science to support it. Well, there is hundreds of years of science supporting that when the salt water rises, the lens raises and you'll kill the aquifer. And it's like I said at one of their meetings before, is the funny part about the science is it's true whether or not you believe it. So it's going to happen. This sea level rising is happening, and eventually, regardless of whether sewer is there or not, we're going to be putting town water down there.
It's not a Chinese creation.
Exactly. I watched the debates on Monday, actually.
There was a program that the town put in long before your time of testing the septic systems
sir.
in the part of the Mattocket Harbor watershed.
Mm-hmm.
How many of those tests that were supposed to have been done have actually been done?
All of them.
They all have been
They
done.
have
now?
all been done. By the time, a lot of people say that the town didn't do it.
Right.
By the time I came, Mr. Ray had actually done over 90% of these tests. They were done. They were correctly done. What I did was just have to chase down the last 10%. By December of this past year, there was only 19 systems that had been inspected.
People failed.
Some people failed.
Some
yes.
people failed. Their systems failed. What is being done about those?
So there are
assuming that Article 2 passes and that Mattocket gets sewers, it won't be for 6 or 8 years. Right?
Yes.
Realistically.
There are 111 failures. Those are split between two types of failure. There's hydraulic failure and technical failure. The technical failure means that they just don't meet the groundwater separation. Most of them meet Title V separation, just not the regulation.
Right.
So there are 85 of those, the technical failures. They have entered either the ACO to start escrowing money so that they can connect to the sewer when it comes down, with the understanding that their system is still technically working. But the ones that have full failure, where the water is way too close, they need to put in a new leach field. And they have been doing this. And then the rest, who are hydraulic failures, those have to be repaired immediately. And they have all 20, I believe it's 26 of them, all 26 have already pulled permits to do what we call the Band-Aid repair, to bring it up to the repair so that their system is working until the sewers get
Even
there.
though it may be in technical violation, it will actually be functioning.
It is functioning,
Yeah.
exactly. We're in a catch-22 with those, in the situation that, well, people are saying, proponents of Article 1 are saying, well, they're polluting the harbor. Well, if we have them install an IA system, well, now we're making them spend $70,000 on a system, and then 6 years down the road, make them spend $20,000 to connect a sewer. Why would we put that burden on them? The system is working, and it is protecting public health in that there is enough separation that the pathogens are dying off and things like that are dying off. The nutrients may not be stopping, but in the meantime, we are doing the landfill and doing a lot of work, the fertilizer and this runoff work to start lowering that nitrogen.
Once the sewers are in,
Yes, sir.
how soon should the benefit of it start to show up in the testing?
Once the sewers are in, that's the first part of the battle.
Right.
That's the first battle. The second battle is getting everyone connected.
Right.
Once all 360 properties or so are connected, we should start seeing immediate stop of nutrients going into the groundwater, and then depending on the speed of that flow, that will
The flush.
the flush, exactly. It will depend on rainfall. It'll depend on a lot of the weather patterns and how much the Gulf Stream is moving at the time. We may be seeing the groundwater flushing out as soon as the next few years after that. I can't give you an exact number, but we're looking at more or less a 5-year window after.
So we're
sewers are-
realistically, we're probably talking 15 years.
Realistically,
before we see the effects of this.
exactly. Before we see the exact effects, we're looking at around 15 years. But one part that many people don't understand is that this isn't just for us. This is for our children. It's for their children. It's to make sure that our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren are scalloping when they come around, and that they're not ordering it from a farm from another side of the country or another side of the world.
For my own reasons, I don't like that either. So, from the town's perspective, this is a really high priority to get this done, right?
Very high priority. It is. We are to the point where you hear a lot about the fundraising, the funding, and the sanctions from the state. We're to the point where we need to get this done in order to avoid these sort of sanctions from the state.
What
and from
kind
the
of
federal.
sanctions might we be talking about?
They may tell us to, they may force us to install sewers because it has been found as the most feasible opportunity. So
Have they
if-
done that with other towns?
So far, to my knowledge, they haven't. I believe they're in the process of doing one of the towns on the Cape. I don't remember exactly which one it is. I believe it's. I want to start with a W, but I can't. I just don't want to speculate. I'm sorry.
I won't guess.
I don't want to speculate.
But other towns on the Cape are doing this where they're having actually to build a sewer plant.
They are.
And do the
Yes.
whole 9 yards, right?
Exactly. We are much further ahead. And that's the thing. We've taken care of the low-hanging fruit. We're now at the hard decisions. We have to do the hard work. We've done the things that most other towns haven't done, and we still haven't met our threshold. So we're now at the hard decisions.
Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed and see what happens on October 17th.
Yes, sir.
Roberto Santamaria, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you so
with
much,
us.
Mr. Drake.